All right, we are recording as well. All right, how are you going? Drop a good morning or anything into the chat, guys. As always, we want some participation from everyone. Makes it a lot more enjoyable. Hope everyone had a good New York session and was practicing good risk management.
I think everyone was pushing it to the limit and just trading until the price limit was hit based on the messages in the chat.
How are we going so far? We got 10 people in the audience. Shall we kick it off?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're both recording anyway, so we're good.
Alrighty. So we'll start with our high time frame analysis. And so we've been watching that 6 monthly. We've been watching this order block here, these two down closed candles, and the consequent encroachment of this week 50% level here as well. See, we're coming back to this order block now after our Trump dump. We'll grab pop our FIBA on this as well again. Definitely well past our 50% level now.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 monthly. So definitely watching that order block. It's going to be a key level, I think, for a plausible low. Do we sweep these, Jess? Been watching them forever.
Yeah, so that down close candle on the bullish price leg, that's actually I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that's right around mean threshold of the order block. So I think that that's gonna be where we return to essentially, sweeping out all those equal lows. I think. Yeah, I think that's pretty realistic there.
It's still in premium of this order block. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get a fixed range volume profile from that swing? We need to be on a lower time frame. Oh, that's messy. That's not what I wanted. These are pretty similar here. So got our like a high volume node in around that order block and where we are here. Yeah, 50% of that. Nice nice point of interest for sure.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. I would love to take out those relatively equal lows, let's just say.
Yeah.
Right? They've been resting there for so long. And the low to the right did take out the one to the left, but it just wicked it, it didn't body it, so
Yeah. Yeah. I still
yeah.
remember that happening, expecting another
Mm-hmm.
sweep during the time. And then I got asphyxiated on them. I'm like, it has to come back and take them out. They're there.
Yeah,
Market doesn't
absolutely.
like smooth edges. months down the track.
Jeremiah, you asked that last time. I'm not sure. I think it was. I don't know. I have no idea. You did ask that last time though. I have no idea.
And so down onto a monthly. Can extend that now. Was that SBS count we had was from that breakout?
Yeah.
So,
Was it the monthly though? I think it was the weekly.
it might have been the weekly, which was it this leg? I can't remember. I'll have to jump on and have a look. Watching this down close swing here as well, which is what this bounced off from. But we've just come straight through.
Yeah, we're
Closing below
through mean
50%.
threshold of that down close candle as well, that order block. So the one that you marked out. So
Yeah,
yeah.
bearish.
I think the question that's lingering for me is, do we take them this week or do they save it for next week? Because it's moving aggressively.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice to leave them, right? But the market doesn't like
Oh.
to leave us nice
Yeah.
setups.
I would like it to be left for CPI. CPI take out those lows and then, bullish.
Down into like the middle of the month. Oh, that's the weekly. Yeah. Come down and turn around. Yeah, that'll be cool. It's 7 weeks. Scornful.
Oof. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Wow.
So weekly we can draw out this order block as well. That's all we've got in the whole swing. Come back up. It's ugly here too this week. Like that previous week didn't sweep here. Comes back up, sweeps both highs. It's like seek and destroy. Come back up to
What was that? And
threshold.
that was the last week of third week of March, I assume.
Yeah. So there. Sorry. So we were looking at this. Let's get our. That was the break. Was it the break up here from this?
Yeah,
one?
it was that.
One,
Yeah, so it was that
two,
break there.
three.
Yup, two. And
Looking
it
for
did
that
actually
swing.
sweep to a couple weeks ago. And we thought it would probably be bullish
Or
after that,
5.
and then fake this out.
And
Just kept
yeah, I was
dying.
looking for a retest of this order block here
Yeah.
as well, or that push to the highs because they're fairly equal highs there. Was that SMT as well on the weekly? Yeah, no follow through.
Yeah, now we've broken through one, right? So that SBS is is out of question. No longer a possibility. The original swing that we broke out from.
Now we've got 1, 2, 3. So do we sweep 2 into this order block and then take these, or are we just gonna nuke down to here?
I'm in favor of nuke, but I do think it's actually possible to nuke first.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just moving so aggressively.
And with the news at the moment as well, it's
yeah, lining up with CPI I think is so key. So I do think we could see those lows and then go up and go back into that manipulation zone.
Let me grab a fib from this one. Deviation.
Once you're done, can you go back up to the 12-month chart? I do think there's a yearly order block there as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mean threshold of that. Wouldn't surprise me. Look at that. Beautiful. 4 deviations. 4.5 at the OTE. Gorgeous.
Yeah. Just lines up. Yeah, nice. It's going to be fun to watch over the year.
Mm-hmm.
So daily, we had. Looking at this swing from the high. And that gave us the 4.5 to this current low. Plus we had that, so this was in line with bullish SBS we're looking at. So we'd reached the 4.5 standard deviations and the 200 SMA. And yeah, looking for plausible reversals there to come back through. It's just been redistribution.
Yeah. Nice retest of the daily BPR or the inverse plus the order block and the SIBI and respected all three simultaneously. For currently Wednesday high, which I did not anticipate at all for NFP.
Yeah. Yeah, straight into that VI there, volume imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
Such a strong drop.
Yeah. After hours, cruel.
Yeah. All right. Shall we we jump to the 1 hour and have a look over the last 2 weeks, and then we can jump into our daily review. Let's delete these. One hour. This is the 200 SMA. 20 SMA was the other one. Nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
Just pop this on.
Wow, maybe I should put an SMA on my chart. That is clean.
Yeah. Definitely worth watching, I think. And that's what I've been trying to monitor as well with the 5-minute time frame, and just to help with those manipulation alignments. So, like if we're rejecting it and then we come above and then break below, retest it, and then come down.
Yeah, then this extra confirmation for the 4-hour expansion with the 5-minute swing. Yeah. Is everyone following? Do you guys have any questions?
So quiet today.
Mm-hmm. Everyone, I hope everyone behaved
Nothing at the
today.
moment. Come on,
You
guys.
didn't blow a ton of accounts. I hope everyone printed money and did not tilt.
Another good day today for off tomorrow for you guys for risk management. Maintain accounts, keep your capital.
Are your SMAs set to chart or specific time frames? I think they're set to chart. Yeah, chart.
Yeah.
You didn't trade like when it was outside of the. I mean, good, great. Thank you, for leading by example, first of all. But you didn't trade like when it when it wasn't at the 5%, because there was a lot of points in between. So I'm actually surprised you of all people did not trade. I'm genuinely surprised. Yeah, it was, man, it was moving fast. I couldn't trade today because yesterday I tried to request a payout and I was in the trade. So today they were like, dude, don't trade. They were like, we have to process your payout, don't trade. So I couldn't touch I had to wait until they were like, they took the money out of the account. So luckily it just happened to fall on the day that we also hit price limit.
Taking out all these equal lows leading into the week. To Monday. So this is our 1 hour chart. We've got our Monday low here. It's sort of made nice for a nice MMBM
Long.
week.
Yeah,
Nice
that did present
structure.
a nice long, absolutely.
So daily open, manipulation below TDO, expansion up. We had 1, 2, 3, just sweep 2, straight back up to take 3. Oops. So we hit 1. We've got a reaccumulation here leading into Tuesday. I'll just move those days back across. Look at those wicks, like just wicks below TDO, wicks below.
Yeah, super obvious and clean.
Shoots up.
If you're on a high,
Reaccumulation.
sorry, yeah, on higher time frame at least. In the lower time frame, this probably looks super sloppy.
Same here. So for the Wednesday, open low. This is a real grind down.
Mm-hmm. That's the infamous long that you stayed up for, right?
16 hours. We'll watch that chart for. 9:30 straight up, no retest. Gone. And the idea of it to come back up into here, 2.5, possibly 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Trump news at 4. A breakdown here. It's hard to get a deviation. We can go from the low to the high there now. So down to SD 1.5 for redistribution. Manipulation above TDO. We can grab that as well. Manipulation above TDO. We've got our SIBI in there as well. We didn't get an inverted BC. This drops. Bearish OB. Price unable to close above 50%. The up close candle. Just wicks in. Was that at midday? Yeah, what point did it reach the 5% and you weren't allowed to trade? Was it at 10 o'clock? Was it this candle?
No, the next one I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one there.
So you can't short any of this.
Well, no, once it's above 770, we're back in play.
Ah, so you're
But
allowed to
once it's
trade
below,
again once it comes back.
yes, as long as you're not trading between 770 to like I don't know, I think it was like 380 or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, manipulation up into NYAM. Sweep these highs. Nuke. Such a shame. Such a clean started week. Like, yes,
So
this
the
a
thing
nice
is
MMDM.
that sorry, the way it was grinding up at the beginning of the week, it confirmed for me more bearish price action actually. So it's unfortunate that that bearish price action, was almost impossible to catch unless, because even for me, I think I was in a trade past 4 at that day on that day, and I got liquidated because props automatically close it around 410 anyway. Both my funded futures and Top Step at least.
Yeah.
So I got liquidated anyway. But with that being said, the way that price slowly grinded up, it confirmed more bearish price action. And I was looking to be bearish in the daily order block, and in the daily SIBI. So I actually did not have the VI marked, which was obvious now in hindsight. But yeah, it respected all three: the BPR, the order block, and the SIBI. So that's where that was my point of interest that I had alerts for when the week started.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was just like, great, this is looking exactly the way I want it to look. And we had not closed above the CE by Tuesday. So then I was like, okay, we're probably gonna go back up to test it. I didn't think we would go as high as we did go, and I did not think it would be the nuke that it was. But the overall idea of more bearish price action this week was confirmed.
So that the whole 3 candles up, bang,
Yeah.
down.
Mm-hmm.
3 candles up. Yeah. Unable to close above the 28th. Touch the top. Into the volume imbalances, bang. And OTE of that swing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that short was nearly impossible to catch. Just the actual short, not the price action after that. But
Yeah.
that's just impossible. I think unless people were trading cash, there's just no chance in catching that. And
not even a
after
BPR
4.
retest or anything. Just yeah.
Yeah, it just died instantly.
Because that's your zone. And there's and beautiful BPR in between. New team. Is that 1 hour just opened up wickless as well by the looks? What do we got, Cryptic? Hi, Justin Adrian. Would you be interested in COT report analysing, just like Larry Williams, to understand how the instructions are positioned short term? Included long and short positions and open interest, and published Friday each week. Started playing around with the reports just this week. Institutions. If you want to send through PM me a report, Cryptic, and I can, yeah, happy to take a look. All right, so
But
sorry, just so on the 1 hour, so we've got this current swing here for our deviation of our Wednesday high of the week.
yeah, you had mentioned yesterday that after this nuke, you're not really interested in trading for the rest of the week, and I think that was spot on. I agree with that analysis. Only in like, and it goes along with what we did on the higher time frame, right? Like I think they leave those lows. That's pretty much. I mean, that's a really huge expansion, even for in 1 day for the entire week. That's a huge expansion, and we made a new low today. So I think it's possible that tomorrow stays within the range.
Yeah, 1,200 point. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Good
That's
gosh.
the other thing. Like coming out of that into Asia, you're like we're not going to retrace to an OTE from 1,200 point drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did tap the lower quadrant though, so it did retrace to 25%,
Yeah.
which I've spoken on before, yeah.
All
I
right.
think this leads into one of those like midweek to like one of those midweek profiles. I think I've mentioned to you before as well in one of our reviews is that when we have like a late reversal in the previous week, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then it'll typically continue into the next week. So like, we could be creating some sort of uh high here or a consolidated range to sweep on, Monday or Tuesday of next week or, Wednesday wherever CPI lands. Sweep that on, a certain day and then go to make a low on CPI and, So I think it's one of those profiles that it could be leading up to now, depending on what tomorrow does, if it confirms that or not.
Yeah. Like continue this extension into next week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It should be fun to review. Like, do we get a retest of this order block and then
Mm-hmm.
come down? Or is it just going to,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe here somewhere?
Yeah. I
Open,
think
open high,
TGIF
low,
could
close.
be, yeah, like I think, I don't know if it'll be, I don't think it would be TGIF tomorrow, but whenever it does, I think that retracement does occur at some point. Just maybe not tomorrow, so maybe Monday or Tuesday. Because Asia, I think, was like 300 points.
Yeah. So remember at open, I'm like, there's no way we're retracing hundreds of points in
Yeah.
Asia, and then it goes and does a 300-point retracement. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
Asia,
after a
that's average
1,200 point
140
drop.
points. Yeah. I think
Wild.
TGT, the gap trader, managed to get some of that
Oh, great.
in the chat. Yeah, it should be interesting how the week finishes and how low it goes. All right, let's jump into our daily review. Go into here.
All right, guys. So those of you that are participating in the backtest sessions with me, today's daily review is going to be very similar to how we're going to be backtesting it. So we always backtest a market replay anyway. And since we're backtesting Adrian's model, this is going to be key for you to watch or to pay attention to. We're going to be following his exact process as much as possible. I think I want to say that 99% of the model is mechanical, just from my observations over several months. So I don't think there's gonna be much that is gonna be questionable when it comes to building the backtest sheet and whatnot. But yeah, we're gonna be following this exact process that he goes through now.
Put that to 18. So we will just set up the chart as we did yesterday.
Same schedule, Jeremiah. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Tuesdays and or Thursdays have now turned into reviews with Adrian, so there's not necessarily a backtest session on these days. But they're on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. and then on Saturdays at 12 p.m. And I'm doing the usual like 12 to whenever everyone gets tired. But it'll be ongoing for the rest of Q2. And I'm actually debating, or I'm considering testing Q3 now during Q2 of the year, so April until July. And then depending on our results, if we like what we see in Q3 and we decide to expand that to either Q2 or Q4 as well, then we can move on to that testing in Q3 of the year after July, is what I'm considering so far. Okay, sorry, Adrian. I'm done interrupting now.
Nah, you're right. It's all good. I'll just set up the chart. So just take a couple of minutes. So we're just putting on the 4 hour. Marks. PDH, PDL. Doing our OT.
Jeremiah, yeah, I always do some sort of like recap of what has recently been done, but all of the backtest sessions are recorded now anyway. So even if you can't show up or you decide, willingly to not show up, all good. You can just watch the recordings. So you won't ever be lost. And I mean, you can always just chime in, ask questions, and I'm glad to answer.
So we'll add the 0.25.
Oh, nice.
This daily range as well then, and take a look. Using the fixed range volume profile for the PDH to PDL is pretty useless for this one, which I explained yesterday, just because there's no data or information within this swing. We got max volume here for the sell-off. That's our POC. So this is one of the days where it's not relevant. So we've done that. Opened up instant sweep of PDL.
Yeah.
Not really interested for the day. All right, we can draw our zone on up here. So this is our PM manipulation.
Cryptic, honestly, I think the Q3 reversal is as close to a soup model I want to get. It pretty is. It really, like, for the most part, it is a soup model. Like, because we're trading the 1 minute, right? If you go up to a 5 or a 15, it is a soup model. Like, looking at that same exact 1 minute entry from a 5 minute or 15-minute standpoint. The first model we did test together was exactly a soup model because it was during the soup times that JD presented.
So normally coming into Asia, we want those PM levels, and then we can use PM high or PM low as a draw for Asia. But like this whole move's just taken out all of that range, and there's no way we're getting up to PDH, or that's our PDH is our New York PM high as well. PDH plus NY PM high. Another reason why I wasn't interested in the day.
Yeah. Sorry, Cryptic. Yeah, that's another good point. Is that that model worked well. I'm actually interested in getting off the 1 minute chart. I'm actually super excited to test this model, Adrian's model. 5 minutes, thank God. I'm so excited to get off a 1 minute chart as far as backtesting goes with the group. I think I think too many people in the group trade a 1 minute. Nothing against it, but I think a lot of people could benefit from moving up to a 5 minute chart.
So we'll put on this current low that we had that started with Asia, and we can grab this swing here. This is our current low swing. This order block here, so this is unmitigated. So I think in the stream yesterday I was talking about price coming back up to PDL rejection, or mitigate this order block here, fill the gap, and then continue down. So I wasn't interested in any longs. If we had New York PM low was just here, and we've opened up, swept New York PM low, and then come into like a Q2 or Q3 manipulation, or even if Q2, Q3 manipulated with the sweep of a New York PM low, then I would be interested in longs for a push back up into
I
the
see.
daily
So
range.
you weren't interested because this happened during Q1, or just because it happened straight off the open?
And because New York PM low is up here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, yeah, if we'd opened up and we'd come in and swept, and if this was in Q2 or Q3, then I'd be interested in a long back to,
Okay.
yeah. All right, so we've got our chart set up. Let's hit. We'll just cruise through Asia. We can do a measurement of this just for watching where price is going to go. And then we do have a measurement. So normally for price to come back up against trend, we're looking around that 1 to 1.5 area for a point of interest. Was TGT in here?
I have no idea.
It doesn't look like it. It's a quarter two. So there's a quarter two break here as well, but no sweep of this. So normally what we want to see, so if this was the PM low, we would want a quarter two or a quarter three sweep here. And then we would grab our zone here and our standard deviation of that, and then would be interested in a long back into the range, ready for a London or a New York short on a standard day. We'll let this play out. So this is the end of that Q4. So from 18 to 2200. So it did do an open low, high close 4 hour back into that gap. Into SD 1.5. And remember, so I looked at this just at the 2200 open, and I think I'd drawn out like Asia's just going to do this. Nothing for the whole session. I had to eat my words watching that. And from that low, Yeah, so that 4 hour candle was done 300 points. And
Crazy.
that doesn't happen in Asia. SD 1.5. So for an actual entry within this, you would want that candle close above here. There's displacement down here. I think just. But also that was Q1. So not an entry I'd take. I can do OTE.
So from a testing standpoint, I'm thinking that even if the manipulation occurs during Q1 or Q2, or let's just say even, yeah, let's say Q1 or Q2, because I'm really looking at Q3 manipulations. But let's say the entry or the manipulation occurred before that. I think I'd still be willing to collect the data on it as long as the entry 2, 4, or 5 still occurs during Q2 or Q3.
Yeah.
I still have to, yeah, I still have to work that out on how I'm gonna organize that information, but yeah, I think it'll still be part of, we'll still collect that.
Yeah, so Q1 would get like a 6% chance
Okay.
for London,
That that that
10% for
that's the
Asia.
manipulation. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect. So it's gonna be rare anyway.
yeah. We have been getting more Q4s lately over the last 2 weeks, but
Mm-hmm.
still rare. New York, yeah. Q3. So we for this to be in Q2, we would want that sweep here,
Yeah.
just for that extra confluence. Yeah, I can share that spreadsheet. I've got a copy of it. I'll do another one, but there's one in the manipulation channel as well if you want to have a look, Aviator, in the lab.
Yeah. He also drops screenshots of it every time he updates it.
I'm currently working on, so the ones that saved are these 3 for the sessions. And then I'm currently working on this. Once I've got some high numbers in here and more testing, I'll pop this into there as well. So this data I'm working on each 4-hour candle with multiple breaks, because sometimes we'll get a double change in state of delivery on a 5-minute, just to help work out which one's the correct one, whether within that 4-hour. So we can see here, like in London for the 2 o'clock 4-hour, so far the second change in state of delivery has been the correct one, and the best entry macro time has been at 4 o'clock. So keen to build this data and get some more information there. What else do we have? So like the 6 a.m. 4-hour candle, the majority of the best entries has been during the 7 o'clock macro and from the first change in state of delivery. All right, sorry, getting distracted. So we're finishing off. So that was that first 4 hours. Move this across into London. All right. So now we can draw on our Asia high. And our Asia low. Asia low from here, from 8 p.m. So using that 8 p.m. to TDO for the Asia range. And TDO. Oops. And I'll just switch off one. Another thing I like to do during Asia when looking for the moves was looking at that edge fall gap fill.
Mm-hmm.
So that runs from 4 a.m. So we're 4 a.m. closed to the 1900 open. That's what creates that box or that gap. And then on their website, we get data of the levels of percentage chance of this to get filled. So I would normally do a 100% fib and then mark out how plausible it was to get to each of those levels. Which also then helps coming into London looking for those highs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Do you think that we should include that in the testing? The edge full gap fill?
No.
Okay.
There's so many things we can add.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
And then, for other people to back test it because it's a paid subscription, it's not.
Yeah, sure. That's a
Not
good
as
point.
fair. Okay, so we're coming into London, Q1. Done our Asia 300-point move.
I just
need
noticed
to
in your
slow
data,
this
Asia actually, the manipulation in Asia actually happens more during Q2.
Yeah, it's still not heaps of data there though. Like that's only from 19
Yeah.
samples.
Yeah, you're right.
I want to get more on that. Even the Q1, like Asia's hard because it likes to range so much, and yeah, it likes to.
This
chop
one's the
around.
manipulation leg. This one's the manipulation
Yeah, you're
leg.
like, oh shit, yes, I think I got the manipulation leg. It's gonna expand now, and then it just comes back and goes the other way, and then comes back again. That's why I preferred. I've had a few people ask me, "Well, do you have a solid strategy for Asia?" And I don't, because it's not. A lot of the time Asia is creating the puzzle pieces for London, and there's not enough solid puzzle pieces made for Asia from New York PM, especially if it does this. All right, so we've come back into this order block here. So we're mitigating this. We've got 50% levels here. I need to... Can we slow this down so it doesn't go... Let's try that.
Yeah, I just press the arrow so it goes one candle at a time as well,
across.
instead of pressing play. So yeah, that'll just go one candle. And TradingView is weird. It prints the candle in like 2 instances, so it prints it like halfway. Yeah.
All right, so we're into Q2. We'll put our TMSO on. I wish that'd work harder on a backtesting system in TradingView.
Yeah, I think. So when they added the ability for the time frame to apply to all charts, I think that was like their biggest accomplishment in the past 4 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I don't know, maybe they're using FX Replay as a crutch because they allow them to use their API. I don't know if that's a deal that they might have with like FX Replay. But
yeah.
Yeah.
FX Replay keep paying while they don't add more stuff to their replay tool. Okay, so we hit 2 o'clock. We're into our next 4 hour. So ideally for bearish continuation, we want to open high from 2 o'clock, open high to low close. We've got Asia low down here, Asia high. So preferably a cleaner sweep of Asia high to be the manipulation for London, and that we can draw off and come down. Hit 1.5 SD2. So we're around our area of interest. Rejecting TMSO.
Wow, Cryptic, congratulations. Round of applause, seriously.
9 days of no trades. Nice, mate.
Oh, you don't have any PAs. Yeah, so you're not backfilling any evals neither? Or you mean PA trading only?
So I've had a Q2 consolidation range here. Standard New York annoyance. Some liquidity here builds up and then just takes that liquidity up above here. If we pop them on.
I think Apex right now, Cryptic, is 1 day pass. So now would be a good time to load up. Even if you don't trade them until next week. I don't know how long it's lasting, but you know.
So that's been swept. Equal lows here now.
Oh, nice. Nice, dude.
We did have there was a break in here. Candle close. Let's get rid of this. So we did have a break here, but there's no liquidity sweep, and we've left equal lows. Break displacement in here too. So we can draw this box on. We can watch how that plays out. So that's our Q3 breakout. And there was a 410 retest of that. But we're super bearish.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, since we're super bearish, would you consider trading this bullish manipulation? Or would you wait for a bearish manipulation to present itself?
It really depends on the day. As such, like if this was a standard day and we had that NYPM low was lower, and if this was Asia low here, and we'd swept Asia low and come back in, I'd take it. Yeah.
Yes, and then you would also be targeting the usual PM low OTE back into the manipulation zone. Okay, got you. I'm with you.
So we'll call this the London Q3. And then remember we talk about when going against trend, we're looking for price to go to that 1.5. And this actually, like a Q3 manipulation in London, 100% of the time we'll hit SD1.
100%. 100%, guys. I don't know if you guys are listening. You guys aren't paying attention.
We'll see if Jess's back testing can continue that confirmation. We'll see. So if we'd gotten long here, 100% chance that we hit that SD1, which it does. And the normal setup, we may as well talk about that as well, would be so either straight off the zone, or we'd be looking for the PD arrays within the zone. So if this was a normal day and we'd swept Asia low here and we're looking for longs, and we would do an OTE from that low to here. 410 retest of the zone. So it didn't actually get back, like the 410 retest didn't test that. Oh man, that's close. Let's zoom in. Did it test that busy? Nah. So entry would have been off that busy, which was like 1 tick short. But that's the idea.
Okay. I have a couple questions here about the OTE retracement and the retest of the zone.
Yeah.
Let's say the retest of the zone is not even 50% of the breakout. Do you take it? So let's say the 50% is lower than the order block. Do you take it at the order block, or do you wait for it to get to 50%? Like, is 50% your requirement?
No. Like, if there's no PD arrays in there as well, we've had displacement out of the zone, a lot of the times I'll enter just off the zone.
Okay, great.
Well.
So,
and if it's good RR, yeah.
Great. So, do you demand more than EQ, or is EQ fine? Like 50%?
Nah, EQ's fine. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you so much.
And in your testing, a lot of the time, you're probably going to see it. Like, say we displace straight up here to SD1, we could just come back to the zone. Yeah, and that, like, this situation could be above 50%, and then we don't even touch the PD array, and it just shoots straight up to 2.5. Which is where it's going to be. This is why you're not going to be able to use an SBS every time, because it's not necessarily going to sweep 2 every time. Just makes it harder for that data.
Yeah.
Whereas getting the sweeps of 2, is like our ideal scenario into the PD array. That also lines up with the 618 or the 79 sweep.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing the 7.9 data.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome. All right, so we've hit that 1 standard deviation. We swept Asia high now. We're at the mean threshold of this order block. So we've mitigated that. We're looking for our bearish change in state of delivery and displacement. So we've got our low here that created the high. Do we have SMT there as well? Let's check yes. So we got SMT with the S. Displace lower.
Do you demand SMT with for the manipulation leg to confirm it?
No, just extra confluence.
Great.
Yeah. Could be, yeah, an additional confluence box for you to add into the sheet for sure,
Yeah.
especially for the successful ones. That'd be cool to see that data. So I'm going to call this London Q4. Always type that too fast. Q4 manipulation zone. So this one here, so we still want to watch this Q3 zone. And so one of the things I've talked about for the failed zones is them getting, so a bullish one to then get bearish flipped. So that can become confluence later for continuation down. So we've got our zone here. We're doing our, I'd almost grab this low here for this one because it's pretty clean swing up. So the low that made the high. And we're going to do our standard deviation from there. Mark out our levels. This is where you guys are like, just mark out the level. My OCD is like, it needs to be in line.
I do the same thing in the backtest sessions. I'm like, oh, hold on a second, guys. I gotta just grab this.
Painful. Yeah. So then we're looking for entries off the zone or within the PDRA for shorts. Oops. Drag this over the whole 4 hour.
What's the minimum RR for your satisfaction to take the trade?
Like normally we're going to get, if we're looking at the full RR of the 4.5, I normally want this to be over 1-to-1, the trade to the 1.5. But you know, my eyes are always on the bigger one.
Yeah, of course.
And then, yeah, I'll either risk, like depending on the setup, like this would probably be, I'd be risking half the amount I'd normally do just because it's pretty crappy PA and we're not up in here.
So in your mentorship, you mentioned, I think, or maybe step 3 or 4, maybe even 2, actually. I think it maybe even step 2. Your model requires displacement.
Yeah.
So let's say it closes the CISD, right? But there is no displacement within that closure. Do you require that a fair value gap is there for that displacement?
Yeah, which was a mistake I made the other day when there was no displacement. But we had a break this one here. So we swept Asia low. We've broken. Didn't displace.
Beautiful example. Thank you. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah. And then see it comes back and then bearish flips it and then goes back the other way.
Yes. Yes. Out of zone. Okay, great.
All right, so then we have our setups on separate accounts. And the idea behind it being on separate accounts is due to then one account would get its maximum TP at SD 1.5 rather than having reduced risk and taking partials on the way, and you're not getting your full TP there. So if we just had it on one account and we're risking $200 and partialing here, you're not going to get as much as if you have one account and you get your full TP at SD 1.5. For that one and similar, do you look at the hourly candles? Yeah. So wanting, do you mean for this one back here? So I was looking at that 4 o'clock. So 4 o'clock to open low and then high close was the idea behind this. So 4 o'clock macro. Yeah. Open high, didn't have the displacement. Wanted continuation from the zone retest. So this was one just that I took from that zone retest here without, because there's no PD arrays within here. And I wanted to just take off, and it was completely wrong. It didn't have that displacement. And it wasn't in OTE either. So that was based around PO3. Yeah.
Can you pull OTE of that leg? I'd like to see where the levels land within that zone.
For the daily range or just for this?
Just the breakout from the zone. Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you. That's good for reference. Okay, so literally just the zone. You didn't even require EQ at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so that actually sheds some light. Okay, great. Thank you. I think I'm gonna alter that rule possibly for the back test, is that it has to be 50% within the zone.
Yeah. Cool.
So if
so your entry would be back here.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. But yeah, if we say we had displacement here and then entry here, and then ideally would take off. And this was a classic PO3 Asia accumulation into London manipulation. Yeah. I was excited about it until it started doing this. Yeah. And so the daily range OTE was down here. Yeah. So it wasn't within that OTE, the daily range, which is tough too, because sometimes Wednesday continuation, it won't come down that low. You know, we had the 200 SMA here.
Yes. Yeah. It's usually, I know exactly what you're talking about. Those are typically when it will retrace into the top 25% or bottom 25% of the previous day, when it won't get into OTE.
Yeah. Asia accumulation, manipulate below, take out Asia low, expand to SD 4.5 and PDH. Yeah. All right, so we've got our change state delivery. We've got our CB in there. We do our OTE. Not even tagged in. So that's the idea, that it didn't even touch the zone for this one. And full nuke. So then this is a good example of seeing those levels being hit as well, and then you have that redistribution, SD 1.5. So normally we want to see this leg here, and this is where you can see those SBSs come in just to help with. So once we got the break, so 1, 2, and then normally be happy still having my entry up here, because Michael 2 should get swept ideally for a good entry. 3 sweeps 1, and then you want 4 or 5 into entry, and then just expansion down from there. Price coming back to mitigate that order block and come down. Yeah, so SD 1.5, SD 2.5's hit nicely. Once we've broken the lows here, we do another one. So SD 1.5. We have our break. 1, 2. What time were they to? 5:15. So that was that 5 o'clock macro, was that first retracement. 5:30. So normally you want this about 3:30. Say 3:45, you get this. And then 4:10, you get that move into the zone. Ideally. Back here, yeah. So if you have the SBS with that 4:10 macro, sweeping 2, makes for some nice confluence. There's our sweep of 2. And 5 ends up being the higher. And so
Plan on collecting data on that as when 5 sweeps 4, or if it ends up like doing.
It
you know,
doesn't
retracing
matter so
to
much for
here.
5, because a lot of the time it will be a lower high. What matters is the sweep of 2.
Okay.
Sweep of 1 to make 3 and the sweep of 2. So we're interested above 2. And then OTE from that is from the 1, which was up here. So this leg's where it broke. Yeah. So this 0 should be here. This whole leg is 1, 2. So then we do OTE from here down to 3. So do our fib from here to 3. And then we're looking for those entries. So this is just an entry model by itself. That Stoke TA has created. And your entries from the 6-2, stop loss above that move that we've done the count from 0. And then your TPs at 3.
Oh, interesting.
And that's your TP point, yeah. And there's the SD 4.5. So this would have been a no entry for that model. Unless marketed right on that 5 o'clock macro. But a good explanation of the SBS within the model. So we hear the SD 2.5 goes into redistribution. So then people trying to get short here get taken out with the sweep of 2. 3 still holding. Get that 5th swing and continues down. Yeah, so sometimes you get an SBS at 1.5 and 2.5. But in this case, we've just got that one. I mean, there might have been a... If we go down to a lower time frame, SD 1.5.
So the conundrum now for me becomes because that entry technically happens pre-market. It doesn't happen during London for the second SBS at 1.5.
Yeah.
So then I think I'll have to bring that to a vote with the backtesting team. Is Do we backtest only intra-session or just the kill zones, or do we backtest all candles, all 4-hour candles?
Yeah, or you just concentrate on like 2 to 6 and 6 to 10
Yeah.
and
Yep.
10 to 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The most traded hours.
Yeah. So yeah, Aviator, there was a small 1 minute SBS here. Just sweeps 2 for that SD 1.5, which leads into the bigger 5 minute SBS. So we're looking at them during those SD 1.5, SD 2.5. And when you're expecting it, so if for the trade to play out from here, once we've hit SD 1.5, stops go to break even. So whether the entry was at the zone here or back up here, if we're saying that it got hit, your stop goes to break even after SD 1.5. And then we don't have to be sweating so much for the rate of 2. Like we're expecting 2 to get hit. We've got our OTE swing here. Our stop loss is in profit up here. We're happy to let this ride. And even if it doesn't, we've still hit 2 TPs. Ideally, with a take profit at 2.5 and SD 1.5.
Beautiful.
And that 5 was CE of this manipulation leg here. Okay, so that's why it's worth keeping those other failed zones on, or we want them to get flipped for confluence for the correct direction. What if it hits 1.5 and then pulls back to OTE when it never entered in the manipulation zone? So I have a rule, if it goes to SD 1.5, I cancel my limit orders, so that's the end of the trade. Because it's like TP1's already hit. And we also know when we're incorrect, we're looking at...
That'll be the
reversal.
counter trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still
It's so funny.
trying
Sorry,
to
go
decide
ahead.
if it should be SD1 and cancel. So say we were long here, we hit SD1 and then it's to break even. But yeah, like a lot of the time it'll go to that and then come back into your zone and would take it out. So it's a fine line between the 1 and 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be interesting to know is like or just even like we could maybe even collect how often 1.5 gets hit when after 1 is hit, right? So for counter trend trades at least, or for counter trend directions.
Yeah.
So yeah, because then we'd know like, okay, this is the percentage of times that it's likely to go with the 1.5. That would probably be a separate back to us, but just saying.
Yeah, sounds good. The more data, the better, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I think I've asked tons of questions. This is crystal clear to me now. There, you answered a lot of things that were still lingering in the air for me.
Yeah.
So thank you. I appreciate that. Guys, do you guys have any questions? That was gorgeous.
And the times of these two, like 7:10, 8:10. You see the relevance of the macro times for entry. And so using the alignment of those 1 hours. So if we did have our short here, our stop loss to break even, you start sweating because price is coming back, but it's just the new 1 hour has opened high, low close.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's opening up. We're into the macro. We're at OTE with this SBS swing. I'm happy to stay in the position. Want this 1 hour to open high, low close, and yeah, incorporating those macro times just to help you stay in trades and to help map out what's actually playing out is definitely worth the addition.
Okay, so then maybe that should be part of the test too. Macro times. I can have a drop down of the macro times that the entry occurred.
Yeah. Yep, and that's what I'm trying to record for those 4 hours as well.
Yeah.
So far, that 4 o'clock macro, so being like around 4:10, has been
Yeah,
the best
350 to
entry.
410.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if we end up with a heavily overweighted data to, let's say it's the 4 o'clock macro and the 7 a.m. macro and the 10 a.m. macro, that's what we need to wake up for.
Absolutely. I agree. Could be seasonal too.
Yeah.
Especially around daylight savings time. Because when those switches happen, there's definitely
That's the issue we got now with quarter fours in London, I think.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
We're seeing quarter
exactly.
fours instead of quarter threes.
Yeah. I've noticed that a lot, especially last year when we were streaming London, or when I was streaming London, it was around daylight savings time and going back to standard, the price or when price would move would be completely different. So,
Yeah.
or it would be on the old time for about a month or two.
Especially if you've just been on a roll when you're like getting really nice Q3s. And then you're like,
Yeah.
we're getting these moves like Q1 and Q4. What's going on? It's a 3 out. I think we have our daylight savings here is this Sunday, I think. So that's going to put me even closer to NYAM, which is good. So I won't have to stay up as late.
I had no idea Australia did that as well.
Yeah. And each state is like slightly different.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I think Aviator has a question for you.
Yep. Do you ever compare the manipulation leg from the 5 minute to the 15 minutes, 1 hour to see there's a larger move? So I mostly stick with that 5 minute manipulation, but I am watching the 1 hour manipulations paired with the weekly. So that Aviator, that's why we're always doing, or you always see me on that 1 hour chart.
Yeah. If you can see
Yeah.
that he has the candles separated into the 4-hour candle, so we're watching the 5-minute manipulation for the 4-hour expansion.
Yeah.
If you can see these vertical lines on the chart.
So I'm watching 1 hour to have our bias for the week and to help plot these manipulations below TDO. And then within these, I'm using the 5 minute manipulation paired with the 4 hour candle. So that's what these vertical lines are here. So this is 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock. This is our 4 hour candle. And I normally have them on with that ICT HTF candles. So that's nice to see there as well, right? So we got a sweep of that previous 4 hour as part of that manipulation swing. So the 4 hour open high and going for the low close. Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting because even that the way that candle closes the 4-hour from the missed entry, it confirms the next candle expansion where the next SBS happens at the accumulation range, right? Because that would 100% be obvious at that point on the 4-hour chart. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we're going down.
That's the
So
new manipulation.
open high, another SBS, a new manipulation into OTE, super clean.
And so in my testing, I have been then getting the deviation of that manipulation within the 4 hour candle and watching that leg as well. Yeah. So that's what the measurements are in that second lot of data that I'm getting. These ones, Jess. Just within those 4-hour zones. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
And these finish at
Thank
the
you.
end of each 4 hour.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good to know.
So
All
these are
right, I'm
strictly
following now.
4-hour stats. Yeah.
That's cool.
Which, yeah, should help with the refinement. Cool. You guys got any
Wait.
more questions? Should we get out of that? So we'd hit that SD 4.5 from that London swing. Price comes back into that previous Q3 zone. Nukes down for New York. SD1. This is messy. This part. Some more macro time, so 11:05. It's 12:30 swing. So this zone down here was like the whole no trade zone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After 11 a.m. So after that low is made. Yeah, right
Yeah.
there. So any price action under that, we basically couldn't trade. But everything back into the range, you could trade. I think even Tyrant was in the trade for that. During that, after it went back up. But once it got under 770, everyone had to be hands off. And we could all trade evals though. It didn't have to be. We just couldn't trade funded or live accounts.
Okay. Yeah, go Cryptic.
All this time, Cryptic, you didn't type the question yet. What's wrong with you?
Come on, man.
He wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna let Adrian answer again. Cryptic for the record. He answered it earlier.
If no entry was given and we go straight to SD1 or 1.5 or even SD2 and comes back to the manipulation zone in the entry zone, would you consider getting into the trade? No. So once it's hit that SD 1.5, it's no trade.
Yeah, because the
Few more
first target
questions.
is hit.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that we obviously studied price action. We had different journeys completely. We had a lot of conversations on Twitter before we both were here. But it's crazy how many, like, just studying ICT, I guess, like how many of the same rules stick, right?
Yeah.
Like just from the foundation of what we studied. So it's pretty amazing. I have a lot of the same rules. So
And so many things overlap. Like,
yeah.
it's cool.
My final question, I think, or just a confirmation or verification of everything as a whole, as a framework. So, although we are watching all change in state deliveries occurring, let's say during Q2 and Q3, when you get that confirmation of a CSD happening at OTE at a session high or low, and it's flipping the counter trend CISD that may have occurred before that. And then you also get the SBS out of that zone, plus it's returning to OTE. That's essentially the full model coming together into fruition. And that would be irrespective of, let's say, the previous 1 hour candle closed bullish. And if all of these things are met, but now we're getting a bearish CISD at all of those things aligned. Let's say happening at a bullish one deviation. Then that, even though the previous 1 hour candle closed bullish, we're looking for this candle, the current candle, to be a bearish close based on all those things aligning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So an example, like with this, let's say this was a 1 hour bullish candle in here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean, coming up? And then we're still, even though it's a 1 hour bullish close, we're still looking for that bearish setup. And if everything aligns nicely like that, we still want the trade.
Perfect.
Got to stick to our bias. And that's why, like, we have all the other stuff on the chart as well. And normally for bearish continuation days, we want that higher price to help confirm that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is always difficult for these counter moves, especially if we're looking for a London high of the day or low of the day for a move. You know, we're always going to be countering that 1 hour candle or even a 4 hour candle, which is possibly the manipulation of that day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have one final question, I think. Guys, this is embarrassing. You guys are not asking any questions. Your previous day high and low that you always mark in the daily review, that is electronic hours and not midnight to midnight.
Correct.
Right, so that's the six.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Alright,
Critique.
I'm good.
We go into, let's say we go into the entry zone, gets rejected and creates another manipulation zone. And also get an entry into the new manipulation zone. You'd take it, right? Can I picture this? Do you mean like a double confirmation sort of thing? So let's say we got Asia, we sweep the low, we come back up, we're into our entry zone. Creates another manipulation zone. Like that. And then you take it here. Is that what you mean?
I think he's talking about the second SBS occurring at the accumulate, or just this is the first scenario. Yeah, I think he's talking about the second SBS occurring.
So then we're going up to SD 1.5. We get another zone here. Oh, do you mean if it went to, like if this goes up to SD 1.5 and there's no trade? Like say it did that. Okay. Would I enter over here? No, I mean I wouldn't. I want the move down here with the max RR.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like as soon as we start playing around in these reaccumulation zones, like price might only just go to the 2.5 and then reverse here.
Yeah.
Like I want this.
And then also considering, right, that we do trade during kill zones. So it's very likely that second manipulation leg is happening outside of a kill zone or towards the end of the session, right? And that also makes it less likely in regards to time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a nice SBS there, back into that zone. Cool.
Yeah. And at the start of another 4-hour candle too, so that was
Yeah.
great.
Just puts those pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Cryptic. What do we got? This is the first scenario where you'd not take it normally correct. Got it now more clear. One more thing. All right. Thanks, Aviator. Glad you've enjoyed it, and hopefully it's opens your eyes to the price movement and what we're looking for, and how to follow price for continuation and what to look for. Yeah, I'll put the spreadsheet in after the stream. Sure. It's gonna be one of those ones now. Just now, we get all the conversation at the end of the stream.
Great, good to know. Stick to the plan. What was your original name? What did you change your name from? I'm sorry, I should remember this. You're a regular in my backtest sessions. I can't remember your original name for the life of me. Yes, it was recorded TLM. Twice. Adrian has a recording and I have a recording as well. Oh yes, time over everything.
Okay, when extreme sell-offs occur or extreme ripping to moon occurs, we leave a lot of manipulation zones tested or untested. Depending on the range of the next day or day after that, if we reach those zones, there's always some decent action from those old zones created days before. Yes. And this is exactly why we want to carry those zones across into the next day, Cryptic.
And I'd like to add that as we're leaving these manipulations zones behind, right, we are creating a new dealing range simultaneously. So, like, let's say the day just keeps expanding, although New York didn't retrace to London or PM session didn't retrace to AM session, that zone or your manipulation leg or your OTE will then start to move with price action, right? So then that zone will always come back into play at some point as well because it's going to retrace to some sort of discount or premium at that point as it expands. Which is basically what TGIF is, right? It's the entire weekly range and you're retracing to 20 or 30%.
So that's what happened here. Why does this long that I didn't get keeps coming back up, Jess? Right, so we've had a New York AM Q3 manipulation on Tuesday, and the manipulation of Wednesday comes back into that manipulation zone.
Yes.
It's had all the confluence in the world and a bullish SBS. We break out 1, 2, 3. We sweep 2.
Oh man.
4, 5. We want to long our longs to SD 4.5.
Oh man, this is a great example though. This is a great example.
Zone, yeah. And especially if this was if this didn't come back into this zone, it makes it even more high probability that it's going to get retested and mitigated, because the orders used to manipulate price or push price down to sweep all these lows, price needs to come back and release those orders, and that's where you get the strength of the moves that we want to catch.
Yeah.
So obviously didn't get their fill here, and they did here, and that's why it just took off without me.
And notice too, like irrespective of OT of the leg that broke out, right? Notice 2 is above 50% of that manipulation zone. So it left just enough right above 50%, and then 4 and 5 come back and sweep 50% completely. The halfway mark of the zone that he marked out. So this happens a lot. This setup happens a lot, and
this was that 7-9 fib as well, wasn't it? I think.
Yep, it sure was. It absolutely, and there's a PM session low in there, so which is 2, which is exactly 2. So, yep.
7-9 soup and send. Yeah, that was the PM low. Yeah. Oops.
So Cryptic, does that answer? Did that clarify? But like, look at the nature of SBS, right? It came back for 2. It gave you like a retracement initially, and then it consolidated for several hours until, or it did a slow grind down, but it is a form of consolidation as it drops back down, right? And then it manipulates again at a specific time into an old zone.
And yeah, and then everyone that's holding longs with their stop below 2 gets wrecked.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, spot on. Yeah, that's the plan, you might.
Great, guys. I'm thoroughly satisfied with your participation in this stream. I hope all of you guys will be there for the backtest sessions as well.
So yeah, one key thing, so we want to keep those manipulation zones, especially when they're untested, into the next day or next week, depending where they are. Definitely become points of interest.
Cryptic, the only answer I can say for you is probably that time frame that you're on, right? Like maybe you didn't zoom out. So on a higher time frame, that likely just looked like a regular order block. Or like an up close candle, down close candle, up close candle. So a continuation. Which people are trailing stops underneath those down close candles, right? So they're going to come back for those stops at some point. If that makes sense, if you're following. Let me see if I can find an Adrian chart for you. Okay, yeah, you're following. Great. Do you know what I mean? So like on that chart, sure, it came back to a discount in this instance, right? So then it makes you think like, okay, it's already mitigated or tested. But then when you zoom out, like especially like now we're several hours into this price action of going up or going down, and then you zoom out into like the 15 or the 1 hour, right? But and it's just all up close candles on those charts. Then they have to retrace on that level as well because your range has expanded. I'm trying to keep it like as simple as possible without overcomplicating it. Oh, I mean, so sure, that's a solid rule for when you know it's going to be an expansion week or a classic Monday low, Friday high, or Monday high, Friday low. Right, but there are profiles in which Wednesday is a reversal. And for sure this was hard to call cuz we don't know when Trump is talking until Trump is talking. Like we don't know until hours before that that he's going to talk and then it's like, "Oh, great. This changes, some things."
And then he talks, and then there's just no entry zone. It's just one way, and you're not on the train.
You're mine. No, you can ask as much as you want. I don't think I've ever gotten I don't think I've ever gotten upset with you, but I have gotten upset on stream for sure. But no, you can feel free to ask away.
This is now a better idea of having our PDH and PDL one because we've got so much price movement between PDH to PDL to have that fixed range volume profile on compared to that previous day. The 4-hour indicator. So I use this one. Oops. By Fatty. HTF candles by Fatty, and Jess uses one which is a bit better and has more information, but is subscription based.
Yeah, it's a PO3 by 2 degrees. You can use either my username, I'm just21, or you can use code Kingline. Either one should get you at least 20% discount. But this one is free. So it's ICT HTF higher time frame candles by Fatty. I actually time over everything. I did a recent video. I don't know the title off the top of my head, but there's a YouTube video. There's descriptions of the indicators or links to all the indicators and all of the descriptions in the videos. So any indicator that I use in that video, I link it in the description. So if you just go to the YouTube channel, it'll be there. You'll easily find it. Whatever you need. I think the only indicator that I use that Adrian hasn't that Adrian has gone over today that I don't use that Adrian has gone over today is Edgeful.
I'll plot out the current Asia range gap for Edgeful that we can see here at the end of the stream, and I'll pop those percentages on as well we can watch. Also today we just want to protect risk and not waste any capital on today's price action.
Yeah, if any of you guys are trading funded accounts and you're just looking to trade it to get like a trading day, I would aim for the minimum and leave price action alone tomorrow, to be honest, just because of how much we've expanded already, how volatile the week has already been. I think tomorrow is going to be a lot of consolidation personally. I don't think it's going to be one-sided at all. So I would just lock in, your 100 or 200 or whatever your prop firm requires for your payout and just lock yourself out if you have that ability. That's what I've already done, at least.
Not for professional, yeah. That's it, Cryptic. So we're breaking this low here at the moment. But these situations or trades within Asia, and there's just no. So this would be an example when you ask me about R&R, your risk reward. I would not want to trade here. Have a Q2 zone. But the only target is down here, liquidity wise. I'm already around PDL in discount. Yeah. Bad setups. So Cryptic, with your other question that you had on the previous zone, so that's what I'm using, but I'm drawing in zones around those OTEs areas. And yeah, special interest in the ones that haven't been mitigated. So that was that London Q4 one that didn't get retested. Oh yeah, so you be cautious. Yeah, and not trade. Just watch and pay attention.
Take notes.
All good. Well, shall we leave it there?
Yeah, I
Yeah, it's about
definitely
2
got
hours.
everything I answered that I needed. Thank you. Yeah.
Cool. Looking forward to the next lot of questions and see if I can get on stream for your Saturday one. You have to let me know what time.
I think I think it'll be I think it'll be overnight for you if I'm not mistaken. I think
Yeah.
you'll still be asleep.
No worries.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you, Adrian, for a very insightful session.
Thank you. It was good. And thanks for everyone for getting a bit more involved this time and asking questions. Makes them a lot more enjoyable.
Sure does.